Hi, this is Mark Walton for GameSpot, and we're here with Andy Wilson, who's going to talk to us a little bit about Bodycount. So give us a brief overview of what Bodycount is about.
So Bodycount's a very, very pure focused arcade shooter. So we're developing a game that's not a military sim. It's very arcade in nature. It's very sort of light of tone. And the focus for us is all about the guns. So we spent a lot of time and attention crafting these weapons to be sort of incredibly powerful, violent things to use. So the idea is even pulling the trigger should feel great in Bodycount, okay? And it extends to what happens when a bullet hits something as well. So that's where our environmental shredding comes in. So the idea again is that it's all about shreddable cover, shreddable buildings, where you're getting through cover to get at your enemies, and they can do the same to you. And what that does in terms of changing the pace of the gameplay. So it keeps the pace really, really high. It keeps you and the AI moving about, and it means that the shredding is actually not a superficial thing where you're watching set pieces of huge buildings coming down. It's actually a really sort of pure tactical gameplay device.
So all these, it's basically very different to other first-person shooters. Was it a conscious decision to make it so different?
Definitely, yeah, because there's obviously some really big titles, Call of Duty, Battlefield. They've gone in a very specific direction. They've been doing it for a long time. They're very good at that. It's a bit suicidal to try and take them head on. We thought when we started this game, there's a lot of space around those kind of titles that's not being used at the more sort of arcade end of the spectrum. Bodycount's very sort of bright and vibrant, and it's deliberately so to try and push it away from those kind of games. And this sort of cover-based gameplay as well. So it feels different to play, it looks different as well.
Do you think there's a demand for that, though, given the popularity of stuff like Modern Warfare and Call of Duty?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Call of Duty didn't start out even on this generation by selling 20 million units a time. You know, it's not. There's tons of room around there. I think, you know, Bulletstorm's done well. Brink seems to be doing okay. I think there's an appetite for it, and if you can establish something which can then grow and that you can sort of revisit and grow over time as well, then I think there's a ton of room, and people want to play different sorts of FPSs.
So what is it you're showing off that's new at E3 this year?
So we've shown a lot of Act 1 in the past. We introduced the Target, who are our big bad guys, quite recently at another event. And in this event, we've sort of done what E3 does really and turn everything up to 11. So we're showing the end of Act 1, which is a really sort of high pressure firefight breaking out from within a Target facility and then rushing out through the end of Africa as everything sort of explodes around you.
So at last year's E3, there was a mixed reaction to the game from critics. How do you think you fared this year? Has the reaction been better?
We'll probably know when it all hits the shelves, but it feels better. I mean, one of the things that we did with Bodycount was we let the press in very, very early. Our press launch was really just a test bed, and then E3 last year was pretty much a technical demo, which was to get across some of the points of the game around the art style and the shredding and stuff like that. This time we're actually showing something that's approaching a finished game, so it's a very different kettle of fish. The reaction we've generally had has been pretty positive. We've had some great previews coming out in the press over the last week or so, so feeling pretty good about it.
Great stuff. So when can we see the game on shelves?
End of August, August 30th in the US, I think it's August 25th in Europe, 360 and PS3.
Great stuff. Thanks for your time. And if you want to read more about Bodycount, just head over to e3.gamespot.com.